Hello everyone, this is Charles Richardson, and today we will be talking about Chapter 1, Managing and Performing. The key learning objectives for this chapter are: 1. Summarize the major challenges of managing in the new competitive landscape. 2. Describe the sources of competitive advantage for a company. 3. Explain how the functions of management are evolving in today's business environment. 4. Compare how the nature of management varies at different organizational levels. 5. Define the skills you need to be an effective manager. And 6. Discuss the principles that will help you manage your career. Now, the chapter started off with a great example of a successful company, a company that didn't exist 2 decades ago. Amazon jumped into e-commerce in a big way, quickly becoming the world's biggest retailer. And its founder, Jeffrey T. Bezos, remains at the helm today. Looking at the astonishing over 12,000% return on stakeholders' investment between 1996 and 2012, matter of fact, the Harvard Business Review named Jeffrey the best living executive of the time. To be effective, a manager has to get a lot of things right. Some of the things Bezos did right were to envision the internet's potential, focus on the long term, and insist that the company put customers first. Those practices were behind such innovations as the Kindle e-reader, Amazon Marketplace, one-clicking shopping. They are a particularly successful example of how a manager brings together people, money, and other resources to accomplish far more than individuals can when acting alone. More so than ever, managers have to operate in an extremely complex and competitive marketplace. Think about the impact globalization has on companies. Successful business leaders recognize that the change from a local to a global marketplace is gaining momentum and is irreversible. Today, the most admired companies come from countries around the world such as Spain, South Korea, and Norway, in addition to the U.S. A matter of fact, many companies are seeing huge growth in markets outside the United States and are drawing their talent from many companies. I remember when I was at Ford, sales in the U.S. were flat, but the company kept growing. Why? Due to markets in South America and also Asia. Ideally, transnational companies have managers who specialize not only in particular businesses and functions, but also particular countries. It is imperative for students like yourself to explore the global market and not just focus on their own region or community. Think about how far technology has come in your lifetime. When computers were first developed in the 1940s and 1950s, they could perform thousands of calculations in a fraction of a second, and were so big it was housed in large rooms. Now anyone with a smartphone has a mini computer that can process millions of calculations in nanoseconds. The internet alone has changed the way management thinks and acts due to the amount of information at a manager's fingertips. Technology creates new opportunities and also brings new complications. Just think about all these cybersecurity issues that have been in the headlines during the past few years. The percentage of trade that takes place on the net is growing at an amazing rate, as is the number of internet users worldwide. In 2014, retail e-commerce accounted for approximately 7% of all retail sales, and that was an increase of over 15% from prior year 2013. Another key area is knowledge management. Well, what is knowledge management? Knowledge management is a set of practices aimed at discovering and harnessing an organization's intellectual resources. Now, knowledge management is about finding, unlocking, sharing, and altogether capitalizing on the most precious resources of an organization, which are its people. For example, successful managers want to fully leverage an employee's work expertise, job skills, wisdoms, and relationships. Effective collaboration requires productive communication between different departments, divisions, or other subunits of the organization. An effective manager must find a way to break down boundaries that might exist between departments. They also have to be able to motivate and capitalize on the ideas of people outside of the traditional company, like suppliers. Transformational industries such as industries centered around the internet today or the car industry 100 years ago show us that the key to having a competitive advantage is being able to sustain that advantage over time. To survive in a business, you must gain an advantage over competitors and earn a profit. You gain and sustain a competitive advantage by providing greater value than the competition. Competitive advantages can be achieved through innovation, quality, service, speed, cost competitiveness, and sustainability. Innovation is the introduction of new goods and services to the marketplace. Your company must innovate or die. It's that simple. The need for innovation is driven by globalization, which we just discussed. Successful companies list innovation as a strategic goal. Quality is the excellence of a product, including its attractiveness, lack of defects, reliability, and long-term durability. Quality is typically measured in terms of performance, various service dimensions, reliability like failure or breakdowns, performance to standards, durability, serviceability, and aesthetics. Nowadays, companies have a laser-like focus on total quality, like preventing defects before they occur or achieving zero defects in production and designing products for quality from day one. Service means giving customers what they want when they want it. Service is focused on continually meeting the needs of customers to establish mutually beneficial long-term relationships. An important dimension of service quality is making it easy and enjoyable for customers to experience a service or to buy and use products. Speed involves rapid execution, response, and delivery of results. It often separates the winners from the losers. Speed is not everything, but it is very, very important. All things being equal, fast-moving companies are more likely to be winners. For some companies, speed has become a strategic imperative. Cost competitiveness means keeping costs low enough so the company can realize profits and prices products at levels that are attractive to consumers. Costs that need to be managed carefully are things like raw materials or equipment, capital, manufacturing, marketing, delivery, or labor. Managing costs and keeping them low requires efficiency, accomplishing goals by using resources wisely and minimizing waste. Sustainability is the effort to minimize the use of resources, especially those that are polluting and non-renewable. The next decade is likely to focus more on resource productivity, the emergence of clean tech industries, and increased regulations from government. Sustainability is focused on protecting our options to live and work in ways that can be managed over generations without depleting or harming our resources. Now, the smart companies also know that sustainability can help a company operate more efficiently, thus reducing costs. So, as Mom says, let's get to the nitty-gritty. So, what exactly is management? Management is the process of working with people and resources to accomplish organizational goals in an effective and efficient manner. Now, there are 4 traditional functions of management. You have planning, organizing, leading, and controlling. First, let's talk about planning. Planning is specifying the goals to be achieved and deciding in advance the appropriate actions taken to achieve those goals. Planning activities include analyzing current situations, anticipating the future, determining objectives, deciding on what types of activities that the company will engage, choosing corporate and business strategies, and determining the resources needed to achieve the organization's goals. Organizing is assembling and coordinating the human, financial, physical, informational, and other resources needed to achieve goals. Organizing activities include attracting people to the organization, specifying job responsibilities, grouping jobs into work units, allocating resources, and creating conditions so that people and things work together to achieve maximum success. Leading is stimulating people to be high performers. Leading includes motivating and communicating with employees, individually and also in groups. Leading involves close day-to-day contact with people to guide and inspire them to achieve organizational goals. Controlling monitors progress and implements necessary changes and makes sure that organizational goals are met and resources are used as planned. So a typical company has basically 3 levels of managers who would do many of those functions we just talked about. They are the top level, mid-level, and also first-line managers. Top-level managers are senior executives of an organization and are responsible for its overall management. Top-level managers focus on long-term issues. For example, a chief executive officer or a CEO is one type of top-level manager. Some other top-level managers include the COO, which is the Chief Operating Officer, the CIO, the Chief Information Officer, or the CFO, the Chief Financial Officer. Middle-level managers are located in the organization's hierarchy below top-level management and above frontline managers. They are responsible for translating the general goals and plans developed by the top-level managers into more specific objectives and activities. Middle-level managers take corporate objectives and break them down into business unit targets, put together plans, and serve as linchpins of internal communication. Now, frontline managers are lower-level managers who supervise the operations of the organization. Titles may include supervisor or sales manager. They are charged with implementing the plans developed by middle managers. They are crucial in creating and sustaining quality operations in support of company strategy. Now, all managers need to have 3 basic skills. The first skill is technical skill, and this is the ability to perform a specialized task that involves a certain method or process. They have specific abilities that result from knowledge, information, practice, and aptitude. For example, if I were an accountant, I would understand how to process key financial statements like a balance sheet or income statement, and how overall those things go into how to operate a business. Conceptual and decision-making skills involve the manager's ability to identify and resolve problems for the benefit of the organization and everyone concerned. These skills allow a manager not only to identify problems, but to find creative ways to solve these problems. Interpersonal and communication skills, which is the third skill set that a manager must possess, influence a manager's ability to work well with people. Many times these are called people skills. Now, how can you be successful in organization or business? First of all, you need to be both a specialist and a generalist. Successful managers not only have detailed knowledge in a certain area, but also know how the pieces of the puzzle fit together for the entire company. To become a specialist, you must be an expert in something, have specific skills to provide value to your firm and customers. Remember, before we talked about being an accountant. To be a generalist, you must know enough about a variety of businesses or technical disciplines and think strategically and work with different perspectives. You also must be self-reliant. You need to take full responsibility for yourself and your actions and your career. You need to find new ways to improve your overall performance. You need to be innovative and also pursue continuous improvement and lifelong learning in order to continue to be successful. You also need to be able to connect. You need to have many good working relationships and be a team player with strong interpersonal skills. You also need to actively manage your relationship with the organization. So you need to utilize human skills, deliver strategic value, build a dynamic organization, mobilize people, and learn and be able to adapt to change. And lastly, you need to survive and thrive. So what are some things that successful executives have in common? They ask what needs to be done. They write an action plan. They take responsibility for actions. And they focus on opportunities rather than problems. So that's it for Chapter 1. Thanks for listening, and have a good one.